Chapter 2. And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 men secretly from Shittim as spies, saying, Go, view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told to the king of Jericho, Behold, men of Israel have come here tonight to search out the land. Then the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. And she said, True, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. And when the gate was about to be closed at dark, the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly, for you will overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hid them with the stalks of flax that she had laid in order on the roof. So the men pursued after them on the way to the Jordan as far as the fords. And the gate was shut as soon as the pursuers had gone out. Before the men lay down, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away before you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you devoted to destruction. And as soon as we heard it, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that, as I have dealt kindly with you, you also will deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a sure sign that you will save alive my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, Our life for yours, even to death. If you do not tell this business of ours, then when the Lord gives us the land, we will deal kindly and faithfully with you. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was built into the city wall, so that she lived in the wall. And she said to them, Go into the hills, or the pursuers will encounter you, and hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned. Then afterward you may go your way. The men said to her, We will be guiltless with respect to this oath of yours that you have made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, you shall tie this scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down, and you shall gather into your house your father and mother, your brothers, and all your father's household. Then if anyone goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood shall be on his own head, and we shall be guiltless. But if a hand is laid on anyone who is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head. But if you tell this business of ours, then we shall be guiltless with respect to your oath that you have made us swear. And she said, According to your words, so be it. Then she sent them away, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet cord in the window. They departed and went into the hills, and remained there 3 days until the pursuers returned, and the pursuers searched all along the way, and found nothing. Then the 2 men returned. They came down from the hills and passed over, and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and they told him all that had happened to them. And they said to Joshua, Truly the Lord has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of us. Psalm 123. A Song of Ascents. To you I lift up my eyes, O you who are enthroned in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maidservant to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God, till he has mercy upon us. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, have mercy upon us. For we have had more than enough of contempt. Our soul has had more than enough of the scorn of those who are at ease, of the contempt of the proud. Psalm 124. A Song of Ascents, of David. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when people rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us up alive when their anger was kindled against us. Then the flood would have swept us away, the torrent would have gone over us. Then over us would have gone the raging waters. Blessed be the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Psalm 125. A Song of Ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forevermore. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous stretch out their hands to do wrong. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. But those who turn aside to their crooked ways, the Lord will lead away with evildoers. Peace be upon Israel. Chapter 62. For Zion's sake I will not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not be quiet, until her righteousness goes forth as brightness, and her salvation as a burning torch. The nations shall see your righteousness, and all the kings your glory, and you shall be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will give. You shall be a crown of beauty in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of your God. You shall no more be termed forsaken, and your land shall no more be termed desolate, but you shall be called, My delight is in her, and your land married. For the Lord delights in you, and your land shall be married. For as a young man marries a young woman, so shall your sons marry you, and as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your God rejoice over you. On your walls, O Jerusalem, I have set watchmen, all the day and all the night. They shall never be silent. You who put the Lord in remembrance, take no rest, and give him no rest until he establishes Jerusalem and makes it a praise in the earth. The Lord has sworn by his right hand and by his mighty arm. I will not again give your grain to be food for your enemies, and foreigners shall not drink your wine for which you have labored. But those who garner it shall eat it and praise the Lord, and those who gather it shall drink it in the courts of my sanctuary. Go through the gates, prepare the way for the people, build up the highway, clear it of stones, lift up a signal over the peoples. Behold, the Lord has proclaimed to the end of the earth. Say to the daughter of Zion, Behold, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. And they shall be called the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord. And you shall be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Chapter 10. And he called to him his 12 disciples, and gave them authority over unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal every disease and every affliction. The names of the 12 apostles are these: first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out, instructing them, Go nowhere among the Gentiles, and enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and proclaim as you go, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out demons. You received without paying, give without pay. Acquire no gold or silver or copper for your belts, no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics, or sandals, or a staff, for the laborer deserves his food. And whatever town or village you enter, find out who is worthy in it, and stay there until you depart. As you enter the house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, Shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or town. Truly I say to you, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues, and you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child. And children will rise against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for the disciple to be like his teacher, and the servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, how much more will they malign those of his household? So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. But even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, I also will deny before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. The one who receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And the one who receives a righteous person because he is a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones even a cup of cold water because he is a disciple, truly I say to you, he will by no means lose his reward.
The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for my brothers and sisters. Thank you for Mom. Thank you for keeping her alive each day, bringing her here to be a part of our gathering. Father, thank you for being the core at the center of this gathering, that it is you and we gather around you. You are the reason we are here. You are the one enabling and empowering each of us to return to this place of worship, this place of fellowship, this table that we gather around breaking bread, the bread of your word. Father, will you lift up Ara and Gina and Rita, all who have physical ailments, physical trauma and disruption in their lives. Father, I pray that you remove this discomfort and this trauma, that your healing hand would be upon each one of them. Father, I thank you for the times in which we live, the excitement to be alive at such a time as this, as we are able to see if we know where to look, what is going on in the world, which means we are able to get a good broad view of what you are doing, not understanding fully, but just knowing you are at work. Thank you for the good judgments that are coming down and the exposing of evil that is happening every day, and for more and more people coming to you, coming to a correct understanding of reality. Thank you that you're at work and we get to see it, watch it, and participate in it. May we do so this morning and this day. In your name, amen. Hi, Mom. Wait, did she say hi? Where is she? Yeah, there she is. Good morning, Mom. Love you. Everybody's chiming in. Well, I love to read all this, but so much to do, so much to say. I'm glad we have this community. I really, it's like a broken clock. I say that all the time, but seriously, having this routine, it's, oh, hi, good. All is well with Mom. Good to know. Alive and kicking. Let's get to the word updates. Okay, I do have updates, but I'm going to save those for the next session at 8:30 Pacific with Joel. So jump over to This Way Network when we're done here, and I'll do the updates over there. In fact, I think Joel anticipates them. We hung out with I was with Joel on Sunday. He was a part of the events on Sunday, and so you'll get his perspective on it as well. So there. We'll do the updates over there. For now, I have a lot of notes on today's scripture reading, and the last notes are like the most important ones. I usually don't even get to the last one, so I better start now so I can try and get to the last notes that I have. All right. At the beginning, where did I start? Rahab. Okay. Joshua chapter 2. Rahab, where is she? Verse 1. And so Joshua, the son of Nun, sent 2 men, right? So this is not Joshua, it's 2 of his spies, 2 of his leaders, and they're so the promises we heard in the previous chapter is that God has given them the inheritance, that Moses has given them the land. In other words, God through Moses has given them direction of what they're supposed to do. So now they're spying out the people existing on the land, and Jericho is one of these, a city, a walled city, right? One of the big hurdles for them to a different happy in your voice. Yeah, I know my voice was different yesterday. Glancing over at the comments. So they are taking on, like, this is one of the main hurdles in their conquest, right? Their inheritance, they have to conquer it, right? And God has given it to them, but they have to take it, right? Sounds like a paradox, contradiction in terms. Here's what I have given you, now go take it. But it's the way God works, right? When God is at work in the world, he's using humans to do his will. And so in this first verse, they send some spies and they go and view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came into the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and lodged there. And I think that's a cultural thing, right? The brothel is also a hotel, if you will. We don't know the details of this culture, but it's one of those ancient professions that you're going to find everywhere in every culture. And for these guys as spies, it's a good place to hide. We think as Christians, like, oh, prostitute. Yeah, and it's probably, well, in most cases, I think even to this day, prostitution is it's a career of necessity and desperation. There's something of value, and if you're living in an oppressive culture, to survive, right? It's difficult for us to grasp this kind of thing, that is sin. But here is a woman who is providing for her family. Talk about a sacrifice. And she covers for these guys. It's like the last person you would think, this person that's steeped in sin. Well, she hates her life, I am certain. And she knows who the Israelites are. She tells them, she's like, we've all heard about what happened to Egypt. And so the news has traveled fast through this land. And she goes, I know that God is with you, right? And so she's probably, thrilled to welcome these men into her home, as opposed to all the other men that come into her home. And she risks her life and lies and protects them and makes a wager, right? She's trusting in God, literally sacrificing her life to the God of the Israelites, right? I could be killed if I'm found out, but I know this is true. I can't do anything else, right? It's like me on this project, right? I know my life is at risk. I know everything, my livelihood is at risk on this project, but I can do nothing else. This is the will of God, right? So my only other comment, two comments about this prostitute Rahab. She's a good daughter. What does it say? She says, spare my father's household. She doesn't say spare me. She says, spare my father's household. She's lived in prostitution, providing for her family. And now she sees their people are going to be destroyed. These people who's forced her into prostitution are now going to be wiped out. And she says, spare my whole household, my father's household. And that's a father that may have been grieved at his daughter's profession, but he's certainly grateful for this daughter now. This daughter has saved their lives, their whole family. And keep in mind, once Jericho is destroyed, spoiler alert, all this comes to pass, right? They destroy it. They rescue Rahab and her whole household, her father's household. And she marries, I think she marries Joshua. She marries somebody. And she becomes Jesus's great grandmother. She's in the lineage of Jesus Christ, a prostitute, a non-Israelite, right? This is just this beautiful thing to understand anybody who's racist, right? Anybody who believes that an ethnic group is superior or inferior to another. Here, the Israelites and the Jews are absolutely exclusionary, right? We see that over and over again. And here's an example of the Lord, the Messiah, whose lineage isn't pure Israelite blood. Right? It's like it would be such a disgrace that you have a great grandmother that was a prostitute. She's a part of God's redemption and forgiveness of sin. All right. I'm going to skip that note to get straight to Matthew. Skip Isaiah. Right into Matthew. Okay. So we can get through these in 7.5 minutes. Lots of notes here. So first of all, Jesus calls his 12 disciples, and there's hundreds of people following him by this time, but he has 12 specific leaders, right? The delegation. And he gives them authority over unclean spirits, right? Over unclean spirits. Gives these 12 normal guys this power. Not just over unclean spirits to cast them out, but to heal diseases, every disease and every affliction. And there's a list of their names, and he sends them out. And in the same account, this is Matthew 10, but in Luke 10, describing this same account, they go out and the demons are subject to them and they heal people. And Jesus, when they come back to report to Jesus, he says, I saw Satan fall, right? And that is what's referred to in Revelation as well, that Satan, the dragon, that fell to the earth. This is that moment, right? Jesus has come, and the voice of the Father at the baptism, right? When Jesus was baptism, the sky opened up and everybody heard a voice saying, this is my son, right? So that's the Trinity uniting there. You have the Holy Spirit descends on Jesus at the baptism and the voice of heaven, all in one. And the entire spiritual realm, right? And not the entire physical realm. Like we know that because it's recorded here, but at the time, just those people in around the baptism heard this voice. But every ear in the spirit realm, like where the demons and angels are, they all heard it. And this was the announcement of who the Son of God is, God incarnate in the flesh. And so this is where that deity in flesh, Jesus Christ, the one true God in physical form, delegates, like deputizes with his same authority over the demons. He's the one who has authority. He deputizes sinners, these 12 disciples, sinners, to have that same authority. And that is the fall of Satan. That act in and of itself, the spreading of his authority to humankind, is Satan losing his authority. right? That's Satan falling from heaven. This is that account. Oh, that's a tangent. I didn't even want to go there. So I'm going to skip a few notes. Let's see, verse 9. Oh, and he says, don't take anything with you. The laborer deserves everything. And I have that sense here. I've given up everything for this project that I'm called to, right? And I had coffee with my pastor this morning, and he said, it's like, this is a calling. I'm like, yeah, it's a calling. Absolutely. And I've been blessed. I'm not prosperous by any means, but God has been meeting my needs. And I know the continued provision is coming. We need more and more, and God is going to provide more and more. So identify with these verses. Verse 18, I want to point out, you will be dragged before governors and kings for my name's sake. Like previously, they're going to be doing miracles, right? These same guys who are commanded or sent out to do miracles, and they will do miracles, and they will see miracles, and they will also be suffer. Right? They will suffer. It's not that you do miracles and now everything's good and everything goes smoothly. He's like, no, you will be dragged. You will suffer. You'll be thrown into chains, right? So that's just a part of the job, right? Do what God calls you to do, and for the joy of doing it, do it. And you will also suffer because you will be attacked. And that's where I want to transition to verse 21. It says, brother will deliver brother over to death. And it goes on and describes, father and child and father, child and parents. But wait, we're supposed to be on the same page. We're linked. We're brothers. We're born into the same household and raised. And I've discovered this truth that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. And the other brother's like, nah, you're crazy, and I'm going to turn you in. Right? Brother against brother, those closest to you. And that's what I'm experiencing with this project, right? I told you guys about the hater who showed up on Sunday. He should be a champion for the Soghomon Tehlirian project, right? His grandfather was essential to this project, and he should be so thrilled at what I'm doing. Rather, he's opposed to it, trying to turn me into the authorities, right? Trying to report me up to the family, or he's called priests. When I was going to speak at their church, he's called them and said, no, this guy's dangerous, right? It's brother against brother. This guy should be my brother, and he's opposed. So this is a fulfillment, right? This is what Jesus promises. You do what's right, and you'll still have those closest to you opposing you. And so it's encouraging, right? It's actually the proof that God is true when you see these things happening. It may feel bad. That guy's, but when I saw that guy show up, I was encouraged. I'm like, oh, okay. And all right. So I want to get to these last couple notes. Real quick in verse 28, do not fear those who kill the body, right? We're so afraid of, you're eating wrong, you're going to die, or somebody's going to hurt you, or this or that. The body, don't fear anything that might kill you. God, who can destroy the soul. That's the only thing to fear. Fear nothing but the Lord. And it's a holy reverence, that kind of fear. Verse 33. I have a very nondescript. I have exclamation points next to this. Verse 33. Where is it? Whoever denies me before men. All right. Whoever denies me before men, I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven. Very important. Jesus Christ is God incarnate in the flesh, the Messiah, the only God in the flesh. That's it. If you don't believe that, God will deny you. If you do not believe that Jesus is the chosen one, the holy one, he is God incarnate, he is the creator. Jesus himself is the judge from the Old Testament. He's the one who killed the firstborn in Egypt, right? He is the angel of death. Jesus Christ is the angel of death, right? And now he's incarnate, coming to demonstrate what life is all about. And if you deny that fact, that's what he's saying here. If he who denies me, my Father will also deny him. Very important. And then finally, he is not, in verse 34, do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth, right? Peace doesn't just settle down. First, there is resistance, brother against brother, right? Speaking the truth hurts a lot of people and they will resist it. Verse 40, I got to finish with this. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. When you receive me, you're receiving God. All right. Jump over to This Way Network. I'm going to jump in with Joel and do the updates over there. Love you guys.